All right, this is great. Ted Cruz talks about what should happen in the due process in the Supreme or in the Senate. Let's see if this really happens. This is what he said.
To do much better, that we're going to have a fair process. We're going to give both sides a full and fair opportunity to present their case, and we're going to decide the case according to law, and we're going to follow due process. So now what does that mean for witnesses? Well, we're going to proceed in two phases. Phase one is going to be the opening arguments from the House managers and from the White House. Each will...
Okay, so phase one. Each one will be given 24 hours to present their side, 2 days. And then what will happen? We'll let this phase one work this way. And will this coming week, Monday, Tuesday, will this happen? Phase two is...
Will have 24 hours spread out over 2 days to present the arguments they want. Their legal teams will stand up, present their case, make their arguments, put forward whatever evidence they want in those arguments, and then we'll move to questions from senators that we write down and the Chief Justice asks for us.
Mm-hmm. So now let me get this clear. Supposedly, the managers will present their case on the Democratic side. It's all Democratic managers, which is partial anyhow. And they'll be given 24 hours on that. So the White House, with the defense, will give their presentation in 24 hours. And in 2 days that should be done. Then it should go to the Supreme Court Justice, Senior Justice, and he should be given written questions to ask both sides, I think. Now let's see what else Tom Cruise says.
After all of that is completed, then we're going to vote on whether or...
Excuse me, Ted Cruz.
...or not to consider additional witnesses, and that'll be a binary choice. If we don't...
Now, then they're going to consider whether or not they're going to choose witnesses.
Consider additional witnesses, we'll move straight to verdict, and I'm confident the president will be acquitted because the House articles don't meet the constitutional standards of high crimes or misdemeanors. But if we do take witnesses, I think what you just heard is exactly right, that it's going to be fair. We're going to follow the principle of reciprocity, which means if the prosecution gets a witness, the defense is going to get a witness too.
Yeah, and...
Okay, so let's see if that holds out this week, and in 2 or 3 days, by Wednesday or Thursday, see if they get into witnesses. And if they get into witnesses, how long are they going to go witnesses on both sides? And will they be cross-examined on both sides? We'll see.
I just think, you know, based on what we know, actually getting those witnesses that are being discussed on both sides would drag this out for a very long time. And if both sides are fine with that, then that's likely what's going to happen, because it's not like you're going to say, oh, you know, Hunter Biden, Joe Biden, and John Bolton, can you all please show up tomorrow for questioning? I want to play this from Lev Parnas, who is not...
So those witnesses are going to have to be subpoenaed. And will they follow through with the subpoenas and testify? We'll see. This is really going to test whether or not we have a justice system that works, or we're just playing political games, and the justice system does not work.
Not a new name to those of us who've followed this for a long time, but is new to, I think, a lot of people in America. Here he is talking about why it's so important to have witnesses in this case. Watch this.
I think Bolton is a very important witness, because I think between me and Bolton, we could fit in all the dots. I think because I was on the ground there and he was over here. I mean,
and you'd be willing to testify?
I would be very willing to testify.
Now, here we have a committed liar and felon, and he shouldn't be testifying on anything. And remember, this is from CNN. I don't want to hear any more of his crap.
Listen, I think this is a game. It's been a partisan game from the Democrats from the beginning. They've had dozens and dozens of witnesses in the House, one after the other after the other. They wouldn't have any defense witnesses. They didn't want to call in Hunter Biden. They didn't want to hear the evidence of corruption on Joe Biden's part. But they've put on a kangaroo court for months. And you know, this latest fellow, this Lev Parnas guy, What we're seeing, and I think what we're going to see over the next couple of weeks, is a replay of what happened with Brett Kavanaugh, which is that Democrats are going to leak things one day after the other after the other. This is going to happen next week, every day or two.
So Brett Kavanaugh, if they treat this like Brett Kavanaugh, this is going to drag out for weeks. Something's going to happen and break loose to stop this kangaroo court. Something. I don't know what, but something is. And it's going to bust it right open. The question is, what is that going to be? And when is it going to be? And who's going to bring it forward? Because our judicial system is broke. And our legal system is broke. And our Constitution is hanging by a thread. So we're in serious trouble, legally speaking.
There's going to be something new leaked, and you're going to see whether it's this Lev fellow or someone else going on Rachel Maddow. And I promise, whatever they leak, they're going to say, this is the smoking gun. This finally does it. And this is all a game of three-card monte. They don't care about the facts, and they don't care about the evidence. How do we know that? Because many of these House Democrats said they wanted to impeach Donald Trump on the day he was elected, November 2016, long before anything had happened with Ukraine, long before he'd been sworn in. This is not driven by the facts. And if you look at the articles of impeachment.
Now, since these managers have said they wanted to impeach Trump, even before he was elected, shows that their impartiality and should not be managers in the first place, if this is accurate. He says it is. We'll see.
Impeachment they voted out. This is the first time in history any president has ever been impeached without even an allegation in the articles of criminal conduct. They don't allege that he violated any
no criminal charges.
Law. They don't allege he violated any law, that he even had a speeding ticket. And what this is Democrats unhappy with the election, trying to use impeachment to remove the president, to undo a democratic election. It's an abuse of the Constitution. The Senate, thankfully, is not going to let itself become the kind of circus the House is. We're going to follow the law. We're going to be fair. We're going to respect due process. And following the law means the president's going to be acquitted.
All right. Following the law means the president's going to be acquitted. We'll see if this drags out. Q has said repeatedly that something's going to happen within 30 days of this beginning trial, and that means sometime by the middle of February, something's going to happen, either with Flynn or with the D class or with something else. We'll see. The White House have something else up their sleeve that they're planning, but I believe whatever it is, it's going to be big enough to blow this right out of the water and make us do the due process and keep the Constitution and do the legal things that we should be doing in the first place. This is not due process. It isn't legal. It isn't constitutional, and it should not be handled this way. This is very political. This is very illegal. This is very unconstitutional, and this is very criminal, very immature. It's Roger Martin from Billings, Montana. Good day.